My name is Jennifer McKee. I'm an owner and artist at Village Chic in South Charleston, Ohio, and an artist at the sister store, Rose City Boutique in Springfield, Ohio. I decided to do something on an odd size canvas for you. This is 12 inches by 36, and I have already sketched a little bit of what I'm going to be doing today. I have an inspiration photo that I got from Pinterest. It's something that I do quite a bit. One of the first things I like to do to prepare my canvas is get it wet. I'm going to be using chalk paint today, so it's an easy preparation to use the Water Girl from Paint Pixie. Just spray it down. It's a continuous spray. So I'm adding some warmth, and I'm using water on my brush. So even though I'm painting over my sketch, I can still see my sketch through it. So I love to come around, paint the edges while I'm doing the piece, and then it doesn't require a frame. The only part I won't get painted right now is the bottom, and I always put a little rag or towel here because there's going to be lots of dripping. And I'm going to start out with a little bit of prairie gray. Still has some crinoline in it, and that's going to make a color in between the prairie gray and where I started. And now I'm going to start putting some strokes and depth. I want this edge to be part of my painted image, so because the dark comes here, I'll go right over the edge of that. And it starts getting a little darker. Once the background is close to where I want it, then I like to go back in and add a little bit more depth. I'm going to pick up some of the black now, and I'm moving toward it from the gray that I had, and I'm going to put some of this in here. I'm going to do just some rough sketch here. And we can start to see where I'm going with this. I often paint faceless. I'm giving you a chance to see what you want to see and who you want to see in the art. Now I'm going to pick up the cheerleader brush from Paint Pixie. This is in the turquoise iris line. I'm going to start feathering in some things on the edge to create some texture. I need a little bit more in the dress area. Shadowed the back of her arm. Don't be afraid to jump in and add that texture. If you decide you want to change it, you can always paint over it. This is a clay-based paint, and so I can actually pick up my Water Girl while it's wet, just grabbing some of that with the cheerleader. So now I'm going to get in here and make sure I clean up some of the things that are important to me as far as the line. So I'm going to pour out a little bit of this sea glass, and I'm also going to put out beside it Fire Starter, along with Sandy Blonde. I want to make it very diluted, and I'm thinning out the sea glass color. It's a little bit see-through. I'm going to wrap that around the corner. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm dipping my brush and I'm going in the Fire Starter. Just giving a little bit of tone, orangey tone, warm tone. I'm going to need to see it in the background. If you get a little strong on the color there, pick up the Water Girl. And then while it's diluted like that, you can come back and pull it down. You can also pull it up. And we're going to pick up the Sandy Blonde and start adding it. I can still wet it. So I'm still working on getting the look I want. Sandy Blonde's going to wipe around on the edge of this, blend in. So I'll be using one of the turquoise iris angled brushes from Paint Pixie, and that gives me a lot of control. So this is where her ear is right here, but we're not creating facial features, so we're not putting her ear in. But you can tell this hair comes back and is tucked behind that ear. Give a little more definition there. Clean this up right here. This shoulder is coming around here. Again, just the impression when you walk in the room. And I want a little bit of messy to her hair. Make it a little more realistic. This is a very middle of the road gray, gravel road. Now I'm doing it not as much as a stroke. See how I've turned that brush sideways? And this is where this comes in. I'm going to take this I can use the wide edge, I can use the narrow edge when I want to get around in here and really take something back. And I'm going to take it horizontal. Again, I'm using the mop brush. And now I'm going to be careful not to smooth this out too much. I want to leave a little bit of the more solid tones here. Let things get broken up a little bit. Abstract gives you license to be a little more unusual, a little more carefree with your color placement. This on the face, across the hair. So the top of the bun is also catching the light. I love the little tip on this. I think she's done. Sometimes I've liked something very much and kept playing with it and then didn't like it as much. And right now I love her. And I love that you were watching too. I did want to mention that you can catch me live on the Paint Pixie Facebook page once a month. And I'll be doing that on Thursdays at 7 p.m. The dates will be on there for when I will be on. And then you can also catch me on Village Chic weekly, Thursdays at 7, and also on Instagram, Village Chic Boutique. But I hope you'll be catching more of my YouTube tutorials. These will be out once a month. As I said, I've got so many ideas, so many things I want to share. But the last thing I want to share with you is that I hope you will pick up your paintbrush and not be afraid to start whatever it is you want, because you can always paint what you feel.